Okay, let's take a look at implementing the default constructor for our list of integers. So if we go back and look at the design, you can see that we have our default constructor. We have the read method. One thing I noticed is that perhaps we should declare this file name as a constant parameter. We're going to have the second read method that takes an input string. We have the print method. That should have been declared as a constant method. I think declaring print as a constant method is a bit more important than declaring the file name as being constant. Then we're going to have a clear method and our destructor. So just like all the other classes we've implemented, our default constructor is going to give default values to the private data members. In this case, the only one we have is head pointer, and it's a pointer to a node. It's imperative that this pointer, that the constructor assign this pointer to null, because if that doesn't happen, you'll effectively have a dangling pointer, and I'll explain that a little bit more. So for our list of ints, all our default constructor needs to do is make head pointer point to null, just like that. So in main, for example, what's going to happen, or wherever you're using this list of integers, when you get to this declaration and when you execute this statement, the same thing happens. Memory gets allocated. We now can refer to this area of memory using the symbol LOI, the identifier MOI. And in the construction of the object, it allocates memory for the private data members. And we have this pointer. Well, without this default constructor, or without assigning the pointer to point to null, this pointer could have a garbage address. It could have a garbage value in it. And as you'll see, a lot of the methods we're going to implement depend on that head pointer pointing to null, and that's how we know that the list is empty. And if it's not null, then we assume that it has a list of elements, a linked list. So it's critical that when we construct this list, when it is empty, that we assign null to the head pointer. So there we have a properly default constructed linked list, in this case a linked list of integers. And another point, when the list is empty, maybe through a call to the clear method, it should end up back in this same default state. Because again, our methods are going to need to know if the list is empty, i.e. if it's in the default state, or if there's a linked list here. And if we can't detect those two states or differentiate between those two states, then we're going to end up with memory leaks and dangling pointers and crashed programs. So that's an implementation of our default constructor.